everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Sharon and this is a channel that is dedicated to all things related to narcissism. In today's video, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different than I typically do. I thought I would try something new out. Depending on the reaction I get, I might make this a regular thing, or maybe it'll just be a one and done. I thought I would begin a series entitled Narcissists in the News. And in this series, I'll talk about somebody who has narcissistic traits that has made the news. So maybe it will be a true crime situation, or it'll be a celebrity, or something you bring to my attention, something I hear about. So let me know after you watch the video if you like this idea, if you think it's good or bad or whatever you think. Just let me know. Just please don't be abusive. So in today's video, I'm going to start off with the Chris Watts case. I've mentioned this in several of my videos, so I thought this would be a good place to start. And also, this case woke me up to my husband being a narcissist. I'll talk about that a little bit later in the video. So for those of you that don't know, there was a family that lived in northern Colorado in 2018. Chris Watts, who was married to Shanann Watts, who was 15 weeks pregnant with their little boy named Nico at the time of her murder, and they had two little girls, 4-year-old Bella and 3-year-old Celeste. So they were living a good life. Chris worked in the oil fields. Shanann was a stay-at-home mom / entrepreneur. She was very business orientated. She was goal orientated. She really wanted to have the best life for her family. Unfortunately, she was married to Chris, who it appears is a covert narcissist. As far as I know, he hasn't been diagnosed with that, so I just want to state that ahead of time. But as I go into the video, you'll see that he does seem to have a lot of covert narcissistic traits. The thing about a covert narcissist, all narcissists really, but covert narcissists really fly under the radar. They don't care about anybody else, only themselves, but they pretend that they care about other people. And by time a narcissist is an adult, they have been practicing pretending to be somebody else for so long that they're good actors. People believe them. And this is what happened with Chris. You know, when Shanann first met him, she actually wasn't overly impressed with him, but he started love bombing her. And that's something narcissists do. They come on strong. They become this ideal person, this person you can't believe how amazing they are. So even if your initial first impression wasn't fantastic, they win you over. Once they have you, the devaluing begins. Then you are not the person that they thought you were, and they react to you very differently because they don't have this attachment to you. So at the beginning of the relationship, Chris came on strong. He won Shanann over. They started a life. Things were going well. But then, of course, you know, it's difficult having a life. It's difficult being married. It's difficult having little children. It's hard living a life like that. You know, finances were a little bit of an issue, and Chris was getting stressed out. So in June of 2018, Shanann was newly pregnant, and she decided that she was going to go away to North Carolina for 5 or 6 weeks to spend time with her daughters, with her family, and with Chris's family. She knew she was pregnant. She knew that she wouldn't be able to travel soon because she would be, you know, heavily pregnant, and then she would have a newborn. So it was a good time to go away. Chris couldn't go because he had to stay at home working. Shanann was involved with a multi-level marketing company, and I know some people think negatively of those companies, but that isn't really related to her murder. So whether or not you think that that's a good idea, that is what she did, and she made a decent income for her family. She made about $65,000 a year, but because she was doing that, she really worked from her phone, so she could work anywhere. So she was able to go to North Carolina. She could work, she could spend time with her family, and Chris was going to join them for the last week of the trip. Prior to them going away, things were going pretty good. Chris was, however, for the last few weeks before she went away, he had a crush on a coworker, and also she had a crush on him, and they were starting to be inappropriate. Nothing physical had happened at the time, but he had met with her a few times at a local park, which, just to be fair, if that was my husband, I really wouldn't be okay with it. So I'm sure Shanann wouldn't have been okay with it either, which is why Chris kept it hidden. So this was the very beginnings of an affair had started a few weeks before she went away. So when she went away at the end of June, Chris was alone in Colorado, and he started living a bachelor life with a narcissist, out of sight, out of mind. They do not have object constancy. So what that is for a narcissist, they're like a small child. Like if you play peekaboo with a little kid, you cover your face, they think you're gone. Or if you go in a different room, they think you're gone. Or even a lot of people have children who get clingy. My son was like this when he was very small. If I went somewhere, would get very upset because I was gone. That's very common in little children. Narcissists are also like that. If you're not there, you don't exist anymore. Except unlike a child, they don't miss you. You just don't exist. You're not there. They're not thinking about you. That's what Chris was doing. He was now living a single life in Colorado. So he started becoming more and more distant with his wife, with his kids. He started doing what I know a lot of you are familiar with. He started ignoring her calls, ignoring her texts. I mean, he was giving her basically the silent treatment. She would beg him to talk to her, and eventually he would, oh, sorry, he'd have some excuse. This is what he was doing all summer. And of course, things became physical with the girl he was having, with the woman he was having the crush on. So he was basically living with this other woman. So the end of the summer comes. So it was a long summer for Shanann. She could feel the distance from her husband. It wasn't just that they were across the country. He was being very cold to her. He was being cold towards the girls. So when he came out to North Carolina at the end of the I can't remember if it was 5 or 6 weeks, she was thinking, all right, this is going to be a great week. We'll spend some time as a family. They were going to go to Myrtle Beach together. It was the girls' first time at the beach. You know, they lived in Colorado. So it was their first time at the beach. It's going to be an exciting time. She thought, all right, this will be great. We can get this. We're going to solve everything this week. Didn't work out that way. Chris comes out. He's ignoring his wife. He wasn't being affectionate with her. She was trying to have sex with him. He refused. He was sleeping in other rooms. He wasn't talking to her. She didn't know this, but he actually tried to abort their baby. He put an OxyContin in a drink trying to have the baby go away because he thought if she miscarried, he could go on and have the affair a lot easier. He was infatuated with his coworker. He wanted to be with this woman. At that point, being a narcissist, he had new supply, and the old supply was a drag. His wife, his children were a huge problem. The last thing he wanted to do was have another baby. That would just make him more attached to Shanann, more attached to the girls. He didn't want to deal with it. And also being a narcissist, he didn't want to get divorced. That would have cost him money. That would have been an issue. They were already having some financial struggles. So to have a divorce on top of that was just too much. If he killed his wife, if he killed his daughters, he could get life insurance because, of course, being a narcissist, he was going to be able to do this and not get caught. So he gave Shanann a horrible week in North Carolina. She was exhausted. She was miserable. She's sending texts to her friends. I don't know why Chris is being this way. He's being so cold. He won't talk to me. He won't touch me. He won't do this. He won't do that. It's the same things so many of us have dealt with. So after the week, they went back to Colorado. So they get back to Colorado, and they had only been home for a day or so, and Shanann was supposed to go on a business trip to Arizona. She didn't want to go. She really was very keen to work on her marriage. She did not want to leave at all. Chris wanted to be with his girlfriend, so he convinced her to go. Oh yeah, we'll talk when you get home. Everything's going to be all right. We're going to work on this. So she left. She reluctantly left, but she left. Of course, Chris used this time to be with his girlfriend. He got a babysitter for the girls, lied and said he was going to a baseball game. He was really with her. Shanann comes home August 12th. She was supposed to come home earlier. She was supposed to come home around 11 o'clock on August 12th. Her flight got delayed. She ended up coming back around 2 o'clock in the morning on August 13th. There's video of her coming in the front door of her house, and that is the last video anyone has ever seen of her. Turns out later, Chris talked about what happened. So, early in the morning, he killed his wife. He strangled her. He claims that he also killed his daughters in their bed. Of course, he didn't kill them. They woke back up. He thought they were dead. He said he killed his girls. He smothered both of them. They were dead in their bed. Then he killed his pregnant wife. And as he was dealing with her body, wrapping her up in a sheet, his 4-year-old dead daughter, Bella, comes walking into the room. So At that point, Chris said he was pissed. He was mad. She was awake. How dare this happen? He had killed her. He thought he had dealt with everything. Now then Celeste wakes up. He had 2 little kids he's trying to deal with, and he has his pregnant wife who was dead. He's not thinking about anything but himself. Their lives did not matter. His wife did not have a right to live. His baby didn't have a right to be born. It was only about Chris. So what he decided to do was he wrapped his wife up in a sheet, pulled her down the stairs in front of his little girls. I mean, can you imagine? He's pulling her. He couldn't carry her, whatever. She was too heavy. Boom, 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 down the stairs. Her head's hitting the stairs. His little girls are crying. He doesn't care. He brings his wife out, puts her in his truck, takes his little daughters, 4 and 3 years old, puts them in a truck with their feet dangling on top of their mother. He drives them out to the oil fields, and he kills little Celeste right in front of Bella. He takes her, kills her a second time, and he said he did not want to risk these girls waking up again. So what he did was, there were 2 20-foot high containers of crude oil at this site that he went to. So he pushes his wife out of the truck, buries her right in front of the girls. He claims they couldn't see her, but I'm sure they could. So he buries her. Then he kills little Celeste in front of Bella, carries her up to the top of a 20-foot container of crude oil, opens the hatch. It's 8 inches across, and he pushes her little body in. Then he goes back to the truck, and Bella says to him, "Daddy, you're not going to do to me what you did to Cece, are you?" And you know what he did? He did exactly what he did to Cece. So he picked little Bella up, dead, or so he says, smushed her into an 8-inch hole, right into a container of crude oil, closed the hatch, dusted himself off, and went about his day. He was working at the site. His coworkers start showing up about an hour later. Chris is already there. He's working there all morning while his wife is buried nearby, and his little girls are sinking in huge containers of crude oil. He's laughing, being regular old Chris, no problem in his life. Then things start falling apart for Chris. He starts getting phone calls that his wife's friend was at the door of their house. "Where's Shanann? Can't find Shanann." His daughter was supposed to start kindergarten that day. They didn't show up. His wife had a doctor's appointment. She didn't show up. Her friend could see her shoes by the front door. Her friend could see her car in the garage. So she called the police. She thought that maybe her friend had passed out. Maybe she was alone in the house and something terrible had happened. So Chris comes home. So he didn't have any time to clean anything up. I'm sure he thought that he had lots of time to deal with this, and nobody would notice that his wife was missing for a long time, but it was noticed within a few hours. So Chris comes home, comes in the house, he's playing his little game. Shanann, where are you? I don't know where she is. I don't know why her car is here. I don't know why her shoes are here, why her keys are here, her purse are here, the kid's medication is here, the car seats are here. I just have no idea. I mean, he's trying to play dumb, but it obviously, even if it looked like, even if he had hidden everything, the spouse is always going to be the first suspect. But he looked particularly dumb because everything was there. It was ridiculous. She really would have had to just vanish in thin air. And his neighbor had video surveillance, so somebody would have seen her leave. You only see Chris leave. Now, he pulled his truck into the driveway so you couldn't see him load the bodies in. You can sort of see some shadows of his little girls, but they came around the truck on the opposite side, so you couldn't really see them. But he did have video. The neighbor did have video of Chris leaving, and there was no video of Shanann leaving. So she would have had to basically have crawled out the back of the house and scaled a fence to leave if she had really left on her own. I mean, it was ridiculous. This is a pregnant woman with 2 little girls. She's missing kindergarten. She's missing her doctor's appointment, leaving everything there to climb over a fence. I mean, it was ridiculous. So Chris is playing along the charade that, I don't know what happened. And he's going on the news. He was forced on the news because he felt like, he couldn't say no because then he would look guilty. So he's on the news pleading for his family to come back. But if you watch these videos, you can see he does this thing called Duper's Delight. He was happy with himself. He's chuckling, smiling. I don't know what could have happened. Yeah, we had an emotional argument, but everything was fine when I left. I saw the kids in the monitor. She was asleep in bed when I left. I don't know what happened. So it started to unfold because he got questioned, the police, and he was being very compliant. This is another thing about a covert narcissist. They're compliant. They really believe in themselves. They believe in their ability to con other people. It's probably largely because they have been able to do this. They have been able to fake their way through life. But to be able to con a regular person is a lot different than being able to con a police detective or to be able to pass a lie detector test. So he's at the police. He's going on and on about how he just doesn't know what could have happened, what was going on, and poor Chris. So the police asked him if he would take a lie detector test. So he said he would take a lie detector test. Apparently he thought he could beat a lie detector test, but he failed the lie detector test. The police eventually caused him to unravel his story. So the police suggested to him, as they were questioning him, they kind of played good cop, bad cop. And at one point they said to him, did Shanann do something? Maybe it was Shanann. Did she hurt the girls and you felt like you had to protect her, that you had to take care of the situation? Chris latched onto that and he started claiming that yes, Shanann killed the girls and I killed her out of rage when she killed the girls. I told Shanann that I wanted a divorce, that I wanted a separation. And then I went to go get ready for work and I heard this ruckus upstairs and oh my gosh, she killed the girls. Well, I was packing my lunch. She killed the girls because I was leaving her. She couldn't handle it. So he went on with this story. And then he claims absurdly that so Shanann killed the girls and then he killed Shanann. So instead of calling 911, he put everybody in his truck, drove out to the oil fields, and he's crying. I didn't know what to do. I was so scared. My kids, she killed my kids. And so he goes to the oil field, and naturally he thought it would be a good idea. I mean, who wouldn't, right? To just dump his little girls into huge containers of crude oil, quickly bury his wife in a shallow grave and pretend like nothing happened. I mean, it was absurd. It was absurd, but he's believing that people are going to be okay with this story. So he goes on and on with this. The good thing is that they were able to get Shanann. They were able to give them her family was able to give them a proper burial. Chris later confessed that yes, you know what? He did do it all. He did kill everybody. He doesn't know why. He was possessed by evil. He just wanted to have a new life with his girlfriend. So this is what he started saying. This case never went to trial because he confessed. He got a life sentence for everybody. He got extra time for ending a pregnancy. So he was in jail. He is in jail right now. But since then, so this happened in August of 2018. The whole thing was over in November of 2018 because he confessed and he accepted a plea deal so that he wouldn't get the death penalty. So he got life in prison. He wasn't going anywhere. They did transfer him to Wisconsin for his own safety because what he had done was so horrific that he was getting death threats in the jail. So he's in Wisconsin. He's there for a bit and he's still there now. But he's decided he doesn't like being in jail. You're not going to believe it, but he found God. He found God. He is now very religious. He knows that God has forgiven him. He deserves a new start, a life outside of jail. Yeah, he killed his family, but Chris doesn't deserve to be in jail. In fact, God has plans for him. God has told him that, yes, he has to be in jail for right now, but he can have a great life outside of jail. There's a new life waiting for him. So now he's starting to backtrack and start saying that it's not quite what he said. He shouldn't have confessed. They coerced this confession out of him. It wasn't fair. When they were talking to him, they weren't even dressed like police officers. He didn't even know. He didn't know. They were being mean to him. They were tricking him. And he wants a trial. He wants to be able to get out of jail. He wants a new start in life. He lives his life guilt-free. Classic of a narcissist. There are people who lose their children in horrific ways not related to them. So they get murdered. They die in car accidents. They have diseases. And their life ends. It's horrible. It takes the strongest of people to survive a case where they had nothing to do with it. Imagine people that have killed their children accidentally. Imagine if that was you. I know of people, not personally, but of people that have accidentally run their kids over. It's the most agonizing thing that I can imagine happening to somebody. I personally think I'd want to be dead if I did that. Chris kills his children, kills his wife in the most horrific of ways. And you can hear him talk, this video of him talking in jail. He acts like it's nothing. He's happy. He's satisfied. He's chuckling. He's eating. I mean, really, there's no guilt. There's no remorse. He thinks it's okay. He should be able to live a new life. He should be able to have a second chance. It doesn't matter that his wife doesn't get to live, that his son didn't get to be born, that his daughters don't get to grow up, get married, have their own children. It doesn't matter. It's all about Chris. 100%. All Chris. He has left devastated friends, devastated family. He doesn't care. Shanann's family lives in agony every single day because of something he did, and he is okay with it. He just doesn't care. He talks matter-of-factly, and this is something I have experienced with my own husband. He does the most horrific things, and he acts like it's nothing. I'm sure a lot of you have had that experience too. Please put that in the comments if you know what I'm talking about. A narcissist has the ability to do terrible things and then act like it's nothing. Things that other people would really be devastated about, they don't care. So I know this video is getting long. I want to add something to the end. For those of you that are in relationships with narcissists, some of you are in relationships with narcissists who have been diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder, and some of you haven't. I have said in prior videos that personally, to me, I don't think it matters if the person you're with has been diagnosed or not. My husband has been diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder, but I knew he was a narcissist before the diagnosis. So the most a diagnosis is going to do for you is give you validation outside of your relationship. So if you tell somebody, yes, like I could say, yes, my husband has been diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder. So some people that will matter to them because it's not just me who's not a doctor telling them that I think he's a narcissist. But I knew beforehand. And being diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder only means that they have met 5 of 9 criteria. And it depends on the doctor. My husband was diagnosed, but what happens if he saw a different psychiatrist and this other psychiatrist didn't think he was? That doesn't make one bit of difference to the things that he has done to me or to our kids. Or maybe he has 4 of the 9 traits, so he doesn't meet the criteria. Being diagnosed is really a matter of opinion. It's not like you can have a blood test or an x-ray and somebody can show you, oh yes, look, here are the blood test results. Yes, here's narcissism right here. He has a high level of narcissism here. It doesn't work that way. So if you are with somebody who has traits of narcissism, that is enough for you to take action. Somebody, whether they have a few traits of narcissism or full-blown narcissistic personality disorder, they are going to destroy your life, and you need to take action. You need to put yourself first. The most important thing to understand is that if you put yourself first, you're not being narcissistic. You're saving your life. I'm not saying that all narcissists are murderers, but you can't know which ones are and which ones aren't. But regardless of whether a narcissist actually did physically murder you or not, they will destroy you emotionally. Narcissists do not have heart. They do not have empathy. They don't feel guilt. They don't have remorse. All they do is go through life full steam ahead, destroying everything in their path. And if you are with them, you're in their path. It is only a matter of time. So let me know what you think about this video. Do you want me to talk more about the Watts case? I kind of just gave a brief overview of it, but I could talk more about that. Would you like to hear about other things that have happened in the news related to narcissism? please let me know, and then maybe I'll continue doing videos like this, or maybe I'll go and not do videos like this anymore. Thank you so much for watching this video. Truly, I'm grateful. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel. Please share the video. I make videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on all things related to narcissism. So if all goes well, I will see you on Monday. God bless you, and I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend.